Could you handle Donald Trump if you were in Macron's position? He came to visit the White House last week, and as usual, Trump seems to have it out for this guy. I don't know what it is, but in this video, I'm going to break down two different social strategies, social techniques that Trump used against Macron to show dominance, to show that he's higher on the interaction equilibrium, or that his social status is higher than Macron. And I'm going to test you. I'm going to pause these things, and you're going to try to come up with what the proper response would be to try to mitigate some of that status that's crashing down on you, and then I'll tell you the way that I handled it. Now, if you haven't seen this video of Trump whipping Macron through the streets, it just kind of shows some of the history between them. I'll show you more of this video towards the end of the video. But these two have had it out for each other for a long time. So I think that Trump kind of gets a little joy out of kind of picking on this guy a little bit more than the other people from what I've seen. So let's watch this first thing that Trump does. Tell me how you would respond. You can even tell me in the comments below, and then I'll tell you what I would do.
We do have a very special relationship. In fact, I'll get that little piece of Dandruff off. Little piece. We have to make him perfect. He is perfect.
I'm starting with the hardest one. This is not easy. If you've seen any of my other videos, I talk about when somebody says to someone else, hey, relax, man, calm down, man, it's all good. It's a tough thing to recover from, because if you respond, you look defensive, assuming that what they said was true and that you're getting all worked up. And if you don't respond, of course, it's assuming it's true because you don't defend yourself. With this, if you watch, there isn't anything on Macron's jacket. There's no dandruff. There's nothing at all. But Trump knows with the view from the cameras, you won't be able to see that. So he goes up inferring, number one, that Macron has dandruff, which is not the most flattering thing in the world. But he also does it at the one shot that probably gets the most publicity anytime someone comes into the White House to meet. So he intentionally did this to belittle him. So what would you do if you were Macron? If you were visiting the White House and Trump came up to you and says, hey, you got a little dandruff there. Let me help you with that. We want you to look perfect. You're a perfect man. What would you say? It's so tough, because if you respond, oh, well, thank you, well, then it infers you had dandruff. Nobody wants to be a leader of a country going on television or on something live in another country having dandruff, right? But what if you say, oh, I didn't have dandruff there? Then what do you look like? You're defensive, right? That's a total mess. It messes up the energy completely and makes you look low status. So what I would do in this instance, and this is not easy, trust me, Trump knows this technique, just like he's used it before by telling people to relax. There was a reporter that got worked up and he says, take it nice and easy.
Now, here's the thing, excuse me, take it nice and easy.
Once again, what can you say? I am taking it easy. What do you mean? It's a really hard thing to do. But what I would do in this specific situation, now, most of us aren't going to be at the White House being interviewed or conversing with the president. But in this type of super conservative situation, all I would do is like pat his shoulder and be like, thanks a lot, Donald. I appreciate it. Just something to show that you're not taking it seriously like it's a big joke, a big grin on your face. I really appreciate that, Donald. Because by you not saying anything but having kind of a joking tone, it shows other people that you're not taking it seriously. It likely wasn't there, and that you're not falling into his frame. Now, what if you were in a more casual situation like you and I will most likely be? Let's say, a lot of people like to apply things to dating. So let's say you're out in a social scene and you're talking to a girl you like or someone you like. And someone comes up to you maybe who also likes that girl, or maybe spin it up. Let's say you're at a networking event and your boss is there and you're in a position where you're talking to the boss, and so is a guy who's, competing with you within the corporation. And the other guy comes up to you and says, oh, hey, let me help you there, Barron. You got a piece of dandruff there. Let me clean you on off there, man. Don't want you looking like a bum. What you can say there is take a little more discretion. You don't have to worry about being as succinct and keeping the conservative. What I would say, I'd grab him. I'd probably grab him by the arm and pull him close. The old dandruff trick, the old fake dandruff trick there. I knew you would have pulled that one by the end of the night there, Mark. Should have known that you would have pulled out the old fake dandruff trick, Mark. I thought better of you. By calling out the fake dandruff trick, it shows that it's something that's contrived. It's a maneuver that he's trying to look good. And then at that point, it's tough for him to come back. If he comes back with something else, it leaves that friendly, funny banter and turns into something that makes the other person look bad. So if you just address it By Mark, I thought higher than you than to bring out the old fake dandruff maneuver at a networking event. Come on, man, suck it up. You can do better than that. I believe in you. Something like that would be a way to approach that. But this is not an easy thing to do. That would be an okay to do it. But what did Macron do? Nothing. He just kind of laughs and doesn't say anything. He doesn't know what to do, so it makes him look bad. All right, on to the next one. Let me know what you do with this one. Actually, before we get in this one, if this stuff is way over your head, if you're just like, I want to feel comfortable in social situations, I want to know what's going on around me, I want to know that I can make a good impression anytime I want, whether I'm at a networking event or on a date, I'd highly suggest you touch or click up here in the right corner. You can download my social invincibility checklist. It's going to go through 5 really tactical things that'll help you out. Because you're coming from this video, you'll be able to get it for free. All right, now let's watch this next one and let me know what you do.
He's going to be a great president of France. That's my prediction. It's only a prediction.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's so bad. How does he look? How do you think? What do you think of him? Maybe you don't know who he is. Maybe you do. How does he come across like that? It's so bad. The first thing Trump does is he talks about him like it's his young son who's like pitching his first baseball game. He's in 3rd grade and, I really think he's going to be a great pitcher. That's just a prediction, but I think you'll do great, bud. And he's just kind of standing there. Yeah, I think I'll do good too. But then the real offense starts. He grabs his hand and leads him away. So Trump is clearly walking much faster than you would with someone that you're trying to walk side by side with to extend the distance. Because what happens when you extend the distance of someone's hand you're holding? Your arms go up and it becomes visible that you're basically dragging the other person. You took a book out of the old handshake movie or the old handshake video where he drags Macron through the streets of France for 30 seconds without letting go of his hand. So Trump knew that by getting that distance between the two of them, that the arms would come up and it would literally look like he's grabbing his son and taking him to bed when he's been up for 15 minutes beyond his bedtime. It looks terrible. Trump clearly looks like he has higher value and is basically just bossing this guy around. So what would you do? Trump just grabbed your hand and now he's dragging you around. What would you do? Well, I'll tell you what I would do is there's nothing you can say at that point. This is purely a physical move. So trying to address a physical exhibit of status verbally is tough to do, especially in this instance where they're not mic'd anymore. So they're walking away. So all that's being picked up are the cameras and the visuals. So what you've got to do, this is what I would do. Grab his arm and just act like an anchor. Put a ton of force to stop him in his tracks. Pull yourself forward so you're shoulder and shoulder. And then what would happen if you just did that? Well, that would look very aggressive, almost confrontational. If you just did that, now you're shoulder to shoulder, staring each other in the eyes, looks super unsmooth. So what you got to do is make it act like you had something to say and you were just trying to get his attention. Because anything to get the attention off that move to pull him back is going to be fine. It doesn't need to be something super well thought out. So you might pull him back and say, hey, Donald, did you say that dinner was going to be at 6 o'clock today? And he'll be like, oh, no, it was 6:30. You're like, okay, fine. Now you're walking shoulder and shoulder and you've alleviated that rag doll getting carried behind Trump. So physically stop him to pull him close, but realize you need to diffuse that physical pressure and now that tension that's between the two of you because you made a bold move. Anytime there's that bold physical move where you're pulling someone's body weight, you need to diffuse it by saying something. Now, pulling someone's body weight, I mentioned this before. Trump literally drags Macron for 30 seconds. It's like 28.9 seconds through the streets of France and won't let him go. He pulls him off balance and literally almost pulls him over. He falls into Trump's chest. If you haven't seen this video right here, I highly suggest you click there to watch it next. I'll talk to you there.
Are you considering thank you very much. Stupid question. Go ahead. Anybody else, please?